everyone.
Hey,
Welcome.
we can hear the music now.
Welcome, everyone, to Hobby Hangout. Back at it again, part 2, where we are painting minis and chatting, drinking our lovely drinks, sipping our coffee, not our paint water. My name is Leona. I'm the video editor for Painting Happy Little Minis and Game Trade Media, and we have Gretchen and Dave here, the host of Painting Happy Little Minis. Hi, guys. How are you?
Ooh, good.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good.
Yeah. So old format, new week, right?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let us know if you are joining us and what you guys are painting. It's me, my face. David Moffat says, "Yay, Leona!" I'll get to the chat. Yeah, I'll get to the chat in a second. So this week we wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Great. And originally we were going to be painting tanks supplied by Dave in the studio. So yeah.
I have them all.
You have a tank. I'm thankful for your tank.
I have them here. This one is going to be yours, Gretchen.
Oh
well. I have a Paladin.
I'll paint him.
Yay.
Paladin's kind of like a tank, right?
Maybe I could play him as a tank.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that vibe.
We're loose on the meaning of tank here.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, heavily armored and tracked. Yeah.
I mean, this dude is pretty. He's from Darkhaven Miniatures.
Okay, Reaper.
Yep. Sorry, I opened it up, so I'm looking through the. Where is it on here that says what this is? But yeah, it's Reaper Miniatures. He's just their male paladin. He is a little bit of a chunky boy there. Could be a tank. He has an entire castle as like
his background.
Yeah, no, not his background. That's armor.
Oh.
Literally just sitting there, meant to shield him. But it's large enough to where an entire Mr. Rogers Puppet Theater show could go on.
That's incredible. Real quick, I just want to shout out the chat, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So we have David Moffat with some spooky wings here commenting. We have Byron, Sumkey, hello. Wayne, thank you for joining. Kat. Hi, Kat. Kat Swift says, and we get to see a Leona again. Woohoo! Yippee-skippy. Roger Moore is here. Chris Layfield, thanks for joining us. Yes, Hobby Hangout Quarantine Revisited.
The sequel.
So much nicer than not have to leave my house.
Yeah, it makes the travel time very nice. Thanks, Mark Banner, for joining us. And yes, Dave is back in his cave. It's true.
Like I never left.
David Moffat says, I'm editing a Thanksgiving video. Awesome. Hello, Facebook user. This time, I can actually tell you on the link on the video, there should be a link that StreamYard provides that says, see my profile. Click that, and then we can see who you are. Hello, Wacky. And also, hello, Carl.
Excellent.
Yes. I have no tanks. Why couldn't we have celebrated X-Wing giving?
You know what? I know a few people that would prefer X-Wing giving too.
I say just celebrate that. It's not like we're trying to force our holidays upon you.
It's true.
We can celebrate all holidays together.
It's Thanksgiving. It's X-Wing mess. X-Wing miss. Maybe that's what we'll have to celebrate, Carl. X-Wing miss. Which is great. So, Gretchen, you said that you're painting a Paladin from Reaper.
I am, and I am painting it with
I can zoom in on you if you want.
I am painting it with some whatever paints I happen to have from the show that I have taken over the course of 2 years. So we have a very limited palette, but we do have enough for Paladin. I also only have my big paintbrushes, so we're just going challenge mode is what we're doing. And the cat has decided that he desperately wants to eat paint. So he's just, if you see me just jolting this way like this, it is because there's a large kitten that has decided that he has to eat the paint.
Gotcha.
That's what that's about.
They haven't made paint or cat safe paint yet.
Yeah.
He just wants anything he can't have. That's his problem.
It's true. Oh, David Moffat asks, what tank is Dave working on?
I have some of the Sherman Fireflies. I think they're Fireflies. What was the Sherman tank that they gave to the British through the Lend-Lease program? So there it is. It's got it's kind of a Sherman profile, but it's a little bit lower. So I've got 2 of these primed black that I'm painting over with US dark green, which you can't quite see there because of course I'm right in the thing there. And I've also, so we can maybe show a couple of other techniques on tanks. I painted one with desert yellow.
Oh, nice.
So this is maybe a little bit more like the color that the British would have painted them for the Desert War, sort of 1941 in Northern Africa.
Yes.
So a little bit more like that. So I'm painting that. I also have a few other tanks strewn across my desk.
Carl says you're sitting in a tank graveyard.
Oh, these aren't dead. They're all quite living. It's more a gathering of tanks.
It's a gathering.
A gathering of tanks. I'm not sure what a gathering of tanks is called. It's called.
Yeah, what's a group of tanks called? A flock?
Not a flock. Not a flock of tanks.
A herd?
Not a herd. Somebody was going to say squadron or a company or something like that. They're the sort of standard designation, but
I was going to say, I feel like I know the people to ask this question to.
You probably do.
Also, Carl says, how to paint a paladin with vague art supplies you find around the house. That is your challenge video today, Gretchen.
That's the subtitle of
Well, it is mini. I have some actual mini paints. Like that's all just ones. And then I have some contrast paint, but that's all downstairs, so we're not going to get that. That's just where it lives now. And then everything else is watercolor based, so that's not really going to work.
No. That's a no.
I do have acrylics, which is technically what mini paints are, but they're little
acrylics.
Yeah. They're a little thick, I think.
It'll take a little bit to work to get those to work, but you can do it.
Yeah.
We have faith that you can make it happen.
Also, hello to Dawn Slater. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dawn. A gaggle of tanks, a gaggle of tanks, a blitzkrieg of tanks.
Yes. A gang of tanks? A platoon? A company? I like a gaggle.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a blitzkrieg.
A bath of tanks? It's a good time.
I feel by the time I actually get to talk to my friend who is a tanker again, and I just list all of these, I'm just going to watch his eyebrow twitch more.
Also, Wacky said, I made another rank in D&D. Awesome. That's super exciting. Add to your tank status as a character, which is great.
Excellent.
Oh, hi, Sean. Yes, we can see you now, which is great.
Excellent. Welcome.
We're all just painting. Well, actually, I'm not painting because I don't have many paints.
You're the MC.
I'm the MC today. I still have my miniatures that I painted from the Sanctum game.
Oh, okay.
Like the Water Dancer, and also Brienne of Tarth. She's been sitting on my desk.
Excellent.
And I realize I haven't painted her sword yet.
That's not good.
I get to see all the places I didn't paint. Roger Moore says a pod of tanks.
Pod?
There we go.
Dolphins?
Kat, Gretchen, need finer pointed brushes? Go check out your makeup brushes. Ah, yes.
So here's the thing with that.
Old
Kat.
eyeliner brushes.
Here's the thing with that. I actually use my old paintbrushes for my makeup brushes.
Wait, don't tell me that. Oh my gosh. I think you've said that before.
Yeah. So I only have as far as like eyeliner brushes go, I only have one, and it is an old it's not even a fine tip. It'd still be too big because I use like the chisel tip.
Right.
Angled brush. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, the angled aren't so good for mini painting.
Yeah. So I don't actually have like teeny tiny ones. I do have one or two very small ones that I use for watercolor. But like this one is, as you can see, the tip of it doesn't have a point anymore or anything. This is a brand new paintbrush that I got. And there's like 3 large ones like this that actually have a point, which is working very well for this because all you need is a good point. You don't like it, this is still making very tiny strokes on to the miniature. But all the other new paintbrushes I got were for watercolor, so they were all flat tipped.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're only good for eyeshadow, right? Lining. Or are they not good for makeup at all?
Oh, for makeup.
I don't know.
You could. It's expensive. I don't want to I use the angled one for like eyeliner and eyebrows, but like I don't want to use my $5-10 watercolor paste. How to slap makeup on my face with my fingers.
You're done.
Saruman.
Wait, that's the 2020 look. That is the 2020 look, I think.
Yeah.
The hand of
Just because I don't want to actually have to do my makeup.
Yeah.
Slap it on there.
I love it. I love it.
Can it
Oh no. Gretchen, we lost you for a second.
messenger? This was not planned in advance. Other than like a week. We had like a week's notice for this.
Yeah, like a day.
Things got bad very, very quickly in Maryland. And such as things are, it was not fully expected. So,
Yeah.
but I have plenty of supplies here. I can definitely paint this entire Paladin with what I have, and it's not it's not going to be a crazy, super challenging thing. And if I actually cleaned my office, I would probably find all the paintbrushes I needed. What a good excuse.
I'm not sure I have enough miniatures, so I'm going to have to order some more after the show, just so I'm prepared for next time we do this.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Literally the reason. Anybody asks, that's why I'm doing it.
You're getting like you're getting low on your supplies.
Running low, exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
Without
That's
a doubt.
great. Also, hi Brad, thanks for joining us. Hello to Seth, thanks for joining us as well. And Jeffrey. Hi gang. Don says, I prefer large belly fine point brushes as opposed to miniature series brushes. Oh
yeah, the Winsor and Newton Series 7 come in both the sort of standard Series 7 and the miniatures, or miniature brush and miniatures series, which the bristles on them are about half as long as the standard set.
Gotcha.
So they don't hold a lot of paint in them.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, I'm sure that they're not made. They're not Winston Newton Series 7 aren't made for miniature painters. It's made for 2D canvas artists kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So when they talk miniatures, I think they're talking about little tiny flat
like
things.
Like dollhouse almost.
No,
oh, you mean like canvas?
Little flat canvas pieces, yeah. The things that used to go in lockets, that sort of stuff.
Gotcha.
When you need a very tiny brush. So yeah, I'm with Don. I always make sure not to order the miniatures one. I made that mistake once. Never again.
Never again.
Never again. I'll make that mistake.
That's great. Kat says, Dave, can you see your shelf of shame, or is it a full wall? I think it's a shelf of opportunity.
Shelf of opportunity, yeah. I like to call it a basement of opportunity.
That's incredible.
Basement of it. Yeah.
That's like I have lots of books stacked up that I want to read, and it's my book stack of opportunity.
That's like all my sketchbooks. Why do I need more sketchbooks? Because I do. All of my empty journals.
They all have different types of paper. It's great.
I am 110% that person that has to touch all the paper in the aisle for.
Yes, I do that.
It has to be the right texture.
It has to be the right texture. I 100% agree. Exactly. Byron says, for you, Dave, more Eldar.
More Eldar?
No, I didn't think so.
No more Eldar. I paid it about 20, 30 years ago. That was
Brad asks, how is everyone? How is everyone?
Just fine. I'm going to just jump in quickly and say, oh, no, there it is.
Oh. Da-da-da. Woohoo! Everyone, look. Terrain Essentials.
Cool. So I mentioned Terrain Essentials before. It's a book that I worked on with Mel Bowes, the terrain tutor.
Yes.
I received my my copies. When did I receive them? Monday. So
nice.
It's been super exciting. We kickstarted it last year. All of the backer copies are currently in Nottingham. Hopefully tomorrow and over the weekend, Warlord Games will be packing those up into boxes, along with all the other cool bits and pieces, and shipping them out hopefully some stage next week. That's which I say hopefully. I put hopefully before everything because I'm not in control of that right now. But that's the news that I'm getting. So I'm very excited about that.
That is awesome.
And then that all should mean that in January, we can have that going out to stores through Alliance Game Distributors.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting.
It's great because it's like a project that's complete. The book is here. It's looking good.
When we say complete, it's almost complete. I'm putting the finishing touches on a basing guide PDF.
Oh, okay.
That will go out tomorrow as well with all of the PDFs for the project are going to go out tomorrow.
Gotcha.
We'll go out through the Backer Kit program. Pull down the thing. So, yeah, very exciting. Huzzah!
Yay! Roger says woot. Chris says wow. Can't wait to get it for Christmas.
Yep.
The book looks good. I backed it.
Excellent.
And
Great.
Terrain Essentials. What a beauty.
Exactly. Actually, what I should do
terrain
is I should do a little
sneak peek.
All right.
It's the white page.
Ooh.
It does have stuff in it. Check it out. There's a color wheel in there too.
Oh yeah.
But one thing I did want to mention. See that triangle there?
Yes.
That triangle is the Terrain Tutor's terrain design triad.
Okay.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
Terrain
Tutor's terrain design triad.
Terrain Tutor's terrain design triad.
Exactly. It basically talks about how there are 3 different main sort of things that you're trying to achieve when you're building terrain.
Okay.
And you can really only achieve 2 of them. There's always
Gotcha.
one that's a sort of sacrifice, so you got to work out where your compromise is. So durability, realism, and functionality are those three.
Okay, cool.
In the book, so we talk about that as well in the book. But there's another version here where we plot where different elements are, or where different sort of things that you see. What's an explanation? So tournaments, for example, tournaments, gaming halls, and clubs. It's gonna fall somewhere between functionality and durability. Where you want to focus, so it won't be as realistic as you might perhaps like. While dioramas can be firmly sort of in the realism corner, not needing to worry about functionality, durability. You're not doing anything with them; they just sit there and look pretty. So
that's a cool way to think about it.
Yeah. It can save a lot of sort of pain when people are thinking, "Oh, I want it to look perfect and hold up to lots of gameplay and work for all the rules for the system that I'm using." But one of the reasons that I was thinking about it is because I was thinking about tanks. Tanks also have a design triad. Should I open this up to the chat and see if anybody in the chat knows what the design triad of tanks is?
Yeah, feel free.
Knows, throw it in the chat.
So if anyone knows, put the design triad for tanks in the chat right now.
You'll win bragging rights.
And you will win bragging rights from Dave. He will say on camera bragging rights.
Yep. Anybody?
It'll take a little bit, Dave. Don't worry. Roger Moore asked Dave, I assume this is something the game store I work for might have. Terrain Essentials.
Terrain Essentials, yeah, it should be. And who asked that? Roger?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Roger, are you in the UK or is Roger in the US?
I think Roger is in the US.
Okay. If you're in the US, it'll be available through Alliance. If you're in the UK, it'll be available through Warlord Games.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So Alliance just distributes to the US. Warlord Games will distribute to the rest of the world, really.
The world. Okay, so we have some people coming in with some ideas. Carl says speed, armor, weapon strength, question mark. Skip down. David Moffat says, oh, dang, I didn't know there was a tank design triad. Byron says,
I didn't know I was going to be tested today.
Engine gas plating.
I didn't study.
Brad says defense and attack.
That's two.
Brad's the third point on that triad.
And Mel says, had a great explanation using trenches. Railroaders are exact, but gamers can't fit models in them, so they need to be playable. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, Dave, tell us.
The design triad is, I think it was Carl. Might have got close to it, but it's sort of engine strength, speed. Speed is one element. Armor, how defensible it is, how tough it is, and weapon type or weapon strength or weapon power, the power of the weapon. So because you're balancing physical things in it, you've got to have an engine that will fit in the tank, or a tank that will fit around the engine. The larger the engine, the heavier it's going to be. So the slower it will be, slower it will move. The more armor you have, the heavier it'll be, the slower it'll move. The larger weaponry you have, the larger the shells are, the ammunition, the heavier it's going to be, the slower it'll move, kind of thing.
Right.
If you want a fast tank, you need a tank that has small weaponry with not much armor. So it's really like a car. It's a great example of it. Or
fast tank, you drive a car.
or actually things called technicals. So in a lot of countries, insurgent forces use like pickup trucks with 50 caliber machine guns mounted on the back. Those are fast, they've got no armor, and they've got a very small weapon.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a balance between those three things. You can increase the armor plating, but that will, if you don't want to reduce the speed, you have to, as you increase the armor, you have to reduce the weight of the weaponry, kind of thing, to balance it out. The Israeli Defense Force designed the Merkava tank, which to increase the armor of it, but not increase the speed, is they put the engine at the front.
Okay.
So that anything coming in against it will protect the crew a lot better, because it has to go through the engine to get through. But it doesn't. The engine was always going to be there. It didn't increase the weight of the tank.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of different. It's an interesting sort of design circle that you get to go through. Some of the towards the end of World War II, some of the German tanks that they were designing were enormous, enormous, so big that they actually couldn't go anywhere.
Right, they just like stayed.
They would sink into the ground.
Oh, okay.
If they rolled off any like pre-prepared area, they were going to go into dirt, and they would sink so deep into the ground that were useless.
That's more like a turret, just a stationary turret.
Yeah. So the what do you call it? So yeah, that's always the pinnacle of the design process, is to achieve the best result for the thing that you're trying to do. So there are quite a few tanks. So Sean's mentioned the M1 Abrams.
Yes.
Which is like the main battle tank of the
M1 Abrams has all three.
Yep. So that's there are still things where if you wanted to put a bigger gun on it, you're going to need to do something else. But also the other thing that has to be taken into account is whatever you're powering the tank with, you need to make sure that there's a constant supply of that. So your supply chain has to match up with your choices.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah. I'd say tank design also has to balance how easy it is to produce. Yes. The German tank was a success because the US could build tons of them. Yep. They weren't as good on the battlefield as like the Panzer III or 4, but the US produced so many more of them that they were able to overwhelm the German tank eventually.
Gotcha.
So yeah, interesting stuff. We're talking about Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So I forgot to ask at the beginning of the show, but if anyone here watching us is painting things at home, whether that's now or stuff you have been working on, let us know in the chat. We love to hear about what you all have been painting and been working on. We have been having some really good posts in our Painting Happy Little Minis group. I definitely recommend you guys check that out throughout the week, because it's really great to just see what everybody's been working on. And like some people have been submitting to different what's it called, like contests and stuff like that. So we've been getting some really nice work. Also, Chris says, check to see if Gretchen is awake. Well, Gretchen is awake. Gretchen is only looking down because Gretchen is painting. Gretchen's
Look,
just
there's so much blue.
I just wanted to.
I did. See, you missed my face then.
Yeah, it's all good. I think that's fine. The way you have it is totally fine.
It's on my desk. It's just me, 2 lights, and a cat.
And some paints.
And some paint.
Yeah. So what have you been painting so far on your Paladin?
So the paint didn't really want to stick on him very well, even though he's pre-primed. So I kind of just painted a thin coat all over him of blue after getting his face painted, just as kind of like a base to see if I to stick a little better, and it is working. So now I'm going back with some gunmetal, and I am going over all of the parts of his armor. The only paints I have upstairs are blue and gunmetal, so we're gonna have a blue theme.
I think that works for Paladin, like royalty.
It does, and I also had skin tones, so he only has his face showing. But
okay, there you go.
Is that even on my webcam?
Yep, it is.
Tell that there is a face there.
It's good.
You know, it looks better blurry anyway. But yeah, I've been trucking along with my little Paladin, and then after I get the armored bits, all gunmetal, some white and some different shades of blue, so I can go back in on his robes and make them a little bit more dimensional.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say
fancy.
Hello to Darren for joining us. Tanks for the memories. We appreciate the puns.
Excellent. I think Carl had a question.
Carl's question, I think, is esoteric. What's the primary? How do you pronounce that? Scion of Thanksgiving. Christmas has Santa. What arrives on Thanksgiving? What do they distribute to the good boys and girls? No, it's not about gifts on Thanksgiving.
No, it's everybody. Every neighborhood, Sherman Tank arrives, and you get to eat a turkey that's been cooked, slow cooked, the previous 12 hours on the heat of the engine.
Beautiful.
You get to share that.
Okay.
See, I was thinking that like maybe all the good boys and girls write letters to
the tank of their choice.
Yes,
right.
to all the tanks, and then they talk about what they're thankful for.
I like your school teacher approach to making this work.
I'm thankful to the T-37. Yes. That could work.
It's good. If you have any ideas, those of you who are watching, let us know in the chat what you believe Thanksgiving is all about. Seth said, does building a mini count? Yes.
Sure. Yep.
In terms of what you've been doing. That's super cool.
Definitely.
Apparently, David Moffat says Canada started building Shermans, but the Americans built so many that ours weren't needed. So they were changed to be self-propelled guns called sextons that ended up being pretty successful.
Yep.
That is interesting.
For the sextons, they didn't have... So the Sherman has a turret. This isn't a Sherman, by the way.
Okay.
This didn't have a turret. So the sexton didn't have the turret, and the gun was in the... basically, the self-propelled gun was inside. And
I've seen those.
Yeah. I think that's what they were. Is that right, David?
Let us know, David, if that is correct. Andrew, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hey, everyone. I currently have some 40k Gene Stealer Cult and Halflings for
Erewhon.
You can do it.
On my painting desk.
Erewhon.
Really enjoying both projects. Love to you all. Cool. Dave is a
We love you, Andrew.
Dave is a Gene Stealer Cult man, so
yep.
You are speaking his language right now. Yeah.
That's my next army project. I've already started working on it. Yeah. I'm doing Gene Stealer Cult and a new Gene Stealer Cult army using some Necromunda models.
Gotcha. Now, do you paint them all the same? Is that kind of how that works, or do different armies have?
I'm going to be painting them with a different color scheme to my previous Gene Stealer Cult army.
Okay.
Just different armor colors. They'll be able to work together but I will also be able to field them separately
Cool.
if I ever get to play again.
You need to figure out how to do like online Warhammer.
In person is so much fun, but that's fine. It'll happen. It'll happen, I'm sure. But painting them really is the most exciting part.
It's true.
So he says the sign of Thanksgiving is turkey lurkey. Sneaks around hiding stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Wait, who said that?
Sumkey.
Oh, yes. There we go. Turkey lurkey. I'm there for that.
Yep.
So, what are you guys doing for actual Thanksgiving?
Me?
Yeah.
In my real life?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just doing a very small get together with people, with my family that lives in Maryland.
Right.
Well, I imagine we're all like nixing back on like the giant family.
Oh, you meant like what am I eating?
Yeah.
I am eating. Well, okay, so my family, we do ham and turkey because that's just how we roll, which I know is super weird, and I never realized that. Like, apparently, most people don't have ham. That's like a Christmas
Really? Because I
thing.
feel like, oh, that's true.
Because my friend was like, "No, ham is like solely Christmas," and I was like, "No, we always have ham."
I think because only like a few of us actually ate ham.
Okay.
That's
We
good.
didn't
I mean, it's all right to be wrong.
I'm just not much of a ham person. I'm a bacon person.
And then
Person.
I feel like this is kind of a southern thing, which makes sense for Maryland, but we always have mac and cheese as a side, and that is like one of my favorite sides for Thanksgiving is our mac and cheese that we make. So,
I saw something recently that it showed like a map of the US and all of the favorite, like the number one side for each what do you call it, state?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there was a good chunk of the Mid Atlantic was mac and cheese, all the way up.
That's good. It's delicious.
Through the country up to Wisconsin.
And Wisconsin was like, of course, mac and cheese, anything with cheese.
Cheese mac.
Our family can't really like get together, so I'm like, we have a small group of like quarantine safe people that we've been like being limited to. So we were all asked to like bring something like from our own cultures because it's a really culturally diverse kind of quarantine pod. And they're like, Gretchen, bring something Cajun. What's something Cajun that your family eats for Thanksgiving? And all I could think of was like my family, like we just season our food.
Mm.
Like, the core principles are the same. Like we just like I've never had jambalaya for like Thanksgiving. I've had like turkey. It just has more pepper.
Mm.
But I'm gonna make pralines. That's gonna be my.
Ooh.
Like that is from my culture to yours, and pralines are delicious. Very.
I'm a little bit disappointed.
What?
I'm a little bit disappointed you aren't doing like fried gator.
Are you gonna go hunt me a gator? Where am I getting gator in Maryland?
I'm gonna do like kangaroo steaks.
Where are you getting kangaroo?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask.
Sketchy.
I'm not at all doing kangaroo.
But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make some pralines, and then seems like it'd be delicious.
Yay!
Excellent. That's cool.
Turkey sausage for jambalaya. Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Do we or bust? We usually do like the Cajun foods, like gumbo for Christmas. That's our
okay.
Like,
yeah. That makes sense.
Oh my!
Or the bones from the turkey are used to make the stock for gumbo later.
Also, this was way back in the chat, but Carl says if the paint isn't sticking to the bones, Minnie, it might be the release agent needed to be washed off potentially.
That would probably have been really smart. But we started. Committed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless I go and I get up and I rinse this mini off.
Oh, David answered your question, Dave, about sextants.
Yep.
They were open-topped. Lots of self-propelled guns were made at the time, which seems kind of scary.
Yep.
Yes.
Oklahoma has kangaroos.
Brad says Tanksgiving is where you give out tanks to everyone.
That sounds expensive.
This one will be for Gretchen, and this one for Leona.
Yay!
And this one for me.
Mark Vander says, I'm eating leftover birthday cake for Thanksgiving.
Heck yeah!
Happy birthday!
Delicious.
Yep.
Is it a turkey birthday cake?
To be fair, I'm 100% like more for Thanksgiving for the desserts than I am for the
yeah.
meal. Like
I'm totally there for the turkey.
Mm.
And
because you do fried turkey.
Oh, my brother-in-law does fried turkey.
Mm.
I enjoy the turkey.
If we're doing it, we'll do it in the oven. I
turkey.
brine a turkey. Chris Layfield will let you know. Yep.
Yeah. Also, Chris does agree with me. Turkey sucks. Enjoy your ham. Thank you.
I don't
raise your ham if you love ham.
I like turkey.
Apparently, David Moffat, their family always did ham and turkey for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yes, but they're Canadian.
Yes, that's fine.
A little bit strange. It's all the Tim Hortons they drink. I'm going to blame it on. But yeah. No, we were originally planning to do a family Thanksgiving with our usual 10 people that we would do it with.
Okay.
But we made the call yesterday to not do it.
Yeah. So
we'll just be having me and Julie and the girls, and we have to see if we can find a turkey this weekend. We're not at all prepared to have a turkey.
Oh.
We're going to be going.
Yes. Yes.
Brother and sister-in-laws. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
My brother almost hunted us a turkey for Thanksgiving. He sent me a snap of a bunch of turkeys while he was out hunting, and he was like, should I? And I was like,
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Sure.
Come back with a turkey.
Oh.
Sorry. Excellent.
Jason, this is back on the Reaper miniature. The white plastic bones are
pretty hydrophobic.
And thing paints don't stick well to that. So brushes on a thin, cheap craft paint that works as a primer, which is basically what you're doing, Gretchen.
It's pretty much what I did, yeah. No,
that helps fix it.
Yep. It was quick and easy. Now I just have to try to make all of the neat lines that I need with this brush. I don't think it's going to work. So I'm going to go back to using the big fat brush with the better point.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If it comes to a point, it's going to be better.
But I have plenty of blues here that I...
Oh my gosh, I just saw Chris's comment.
Me too.
It's a long and very well documented brining process. Dave has a book coming out. Check Kickstarter.
If you'd like a book, Chris, on how to brine turkeys.
That's your next Kickstarter.
We can definitely do that.
Brining a turkey.
Nice.
I can't wait for all the...
Leona, me and you have been wanting to do a cooking show.
It's true. It's true. Gosh, it's been like a year now.
Every time Leona and I are left to our own devices, we're like, you know what the gaming community needs?
A cooking show. Kind of like nailed it, sort of, maybe, but also like
how to make snacks for your group.
Yeah.
But of course, you guys had to talk about it after Thomas Roach left the chat.
Yeah,
he knows.
No,
I wrote him a recipe.
Excellent.
Also, hi Zabiram, thanks for joining. Finally get to see me. That is true. Beautiful face. and the changing lighting. Do you enjoy that? It's great. Oh, Carl asked Dave the real questions. What is the turkey brining triad?
Turkey brining triad. That's a good question. Time, space, and weight of the turkey.
Okay. Wow. You got that really fast. Maybe you are writing a book.
Dave was ready. Dave was prepared.
I'd never actually thought of it, but now
That's incredible.
Maybe it could be good. But Byron, I do a wet brine. So yeah,
that's what they were asking.
You get a huge pot and boil up the brine and pour it into a big brining bag with the turkey and ice water, and so you get all sorts of fun things in there, like apple cider vinegar and
oh, nice,
lots of herbs and spices and sugar and salt and that kind of thing.
All the things that make stuff delicious.
All the flavorful stuff.
Something that my family always makes is a thing called New England succotash. And are either of you familiar with that dish?
I know what succotash is. I don't know what makes
it's basically.
Has it got lobster sprinkled on top?
No.
Yeah.
It's a succotash, but it has like black beans and onions and beans and corn.
Okay.
And I love succotash. It's my favorite. And apparently it's me and my mother are the only ones who like that, because we found that out a couple of years ago. We made a huge big thing of it, and then only we ate it.
Right. And you ate it for weeks.
We did. We ate it for weeks. It's delicious. I love a good succotash.
I like sweet potatoes a whole.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm one of the few people in my family who really like all the leftover sweet potato usually.
That's you.
Because I'll eat it. I think it's good. I like it. My mom makes it with pecans on top, so it's nice and crunchy.
We're enjoying that. Mark Banner says, I'm hoping to get the Wood for Sheep, the gaming cookbook for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. I didn't even know they were coming. I have to look that up now.
Yep.
And then Seth says that, Gretchen, you and I should do a review of the D&D cookbook.
We should totally do that. I've cooked on the show like once out of a cookbook.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I just brought stuff in. I didn't cook it on the show.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't remember that episode. I'm drunk. Probably.
This was back with Rick. Rick was like, Gretchen, I have this cookbook. You cook from it. And I was like, you're absolutely right, Rick.
Yep. You should definitely do that. Cool.
So
I'm putting myself in a sort of strange situation because I've put a wash on each of my tanks. So I have 3 that are going at the moment, but they're all the washes are drying. So I find myself just sort of sitting here waiting for it to dry.
Talking about brine, you know how it is.
Yeah. Exactly. But I also have to say hi to Zabiram.
Yes.
Hello. Very cool.
Thanks for joining. Oh, Roger Moore says we have that cookbook in our store, and it looks really cool.
Yep.
I just have fun. I think it's fun. I'm always the person at the D&D group who brings the snacks.
You gotta have a snack now.
We did. The last time we were playing from a Lord of the Rings and we had all Lord of the Rings style like adventure party food set up.
Mm-hmm.
It's called immersion. We go all out.
Nice.
It was very fun. I baked bread for like the first time in my life, which wasn't bad, but it definitely was not the best bread that I ever had. It was definitely, this is what you've got at the end, and you just have to like it.
Nice.
Pat says, Debbie Downer here, over 50 years vegetarian, so no big dead carcass on the table. That's fair. But so many great sides, which I agree.
Sure.
Yeah, there's so many vegetarian options for like delicious foods. I think it's a Debbie Downer at all. Each to their own.
ask Kat if she does a corn pudding.
What?
Do you do a corn pudding, ma'am?
Oh.
Cream of corn?
Fun. My sister-in-law started bringing corn pudding to Thanksgiving, and it's absolutely fantastic. So now I demand that we have corn pudding every Thanksgiving. And Julie made some the other night, and it was like, we should maybe make this like an every month thing. Not necessarily an every week, but let's work towards that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is really good.
You realize you just really like corn pudding.
Corn pudding is fantastic. Absolutely awesome.
I don't think I've had a good one yet. I think I've met a lot of bad corn pudding, so I'm a little scarred.
I'm confused. When you say bad corn pudding, I can't imagine any way that it could be bad.
It's not
like razor blades or licorice or something like that.
Also, Sumkey said, did you bring enough food for a second breakfast in terms of your...
We were eating I think we ate more than we actually played.
And David Moffat says, adventure food, iron rations, and elf bread.
It
was bread. It was bread, and it was cheeses, and it was like preserved meats, and different people brought food and fruits, dried fruits and stuff. We were playing. What's the tabletop?
Middle Earth.
Was it Middle Earth?
Middle Earth role playing game.
I think
that's the only one I know.
Yeah,
it could be that.
It was fun. Yeah.
Oh, Kat says, Dave, we have in the past, we basically hit the farmer's market and whatever looks good works.
Nice.
Lots of homemade breads and desserts.
Yeah.
And Sumkey said, I can make soda bread.
Oh, cool.
Soda bread's really good.
Yes.
Soda bread is awesome.
And Carl says, we do a corn casserole in Nebraska, basically sweet corn, cream corn muffin mix, and sour cream.
That sounds awesome.
It's kind of like corn pudding.
I'm going to need you to put up a complete recipe in the group.
Carl, if you'd like to share a link to the recipe, I approve that in the chat. Real quick, did you guys want to
put it up with a picture of a miniature, or write it out and put a miniature next to it, take a photo?
Yeah, there you go. Put a mini in the photo. Post it to the Facebook group. Did you guys want to look at some of our tanks?
That would be
great.
That we
Let's
had
look at some tanks.
For Tanksgiving. All right, give me a moment. Of course I say that and I don't have it prepped. What is my problem?
It's like you've never done this before.
I've never done this before.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well,
boom.
Excellent.
First up, Ben.
I think is this a ghost arc? I think that's what it's called.
It has like an arc look to it.
Yep. So in the middle of it are like a squad of Necrons, all ready to be deployed. Kind of a little bit like the droids in Star Wars in the prequels. But yeah, that looks very cool, Ben. I'm really liking the just that pop of the bright green and the little the red on the shoulders of those guys. So it's really cool. Nice one.
Brad with another tank.
Yeah. This one is a it's a German tank. I don't know if it's I don't think it's a Tiger. I think it might be a Panzer IV.
Brad, if you're still in the chat, let us know.
Yep. Right, let us know. But yeah, the three color camo was a fairly standard thing on German tanks. So they rolled out of the factory with the sort of like the yellow color scheme, which is kind of similar to how I'm painting my tank here. And then in the field, the different units had to paint the camo schemes on them.
Oh, it's a tiger.
It's tiger. Okay.
By the way.
Yep.
Cool.
Very nice. Good work.
Chris, Gorka?
Excellent. Speaking of droids popping out of the side of a tank, this is the one they'd be popping out of. But yeah, looks really good, Chris. Nice work.
We're loving
it. Just the little exhaust sort of weathering down the bottom. Cool. Nice one.
David
Moffat, Team 64.
From Battlefront.
I'm guessing then, David, is this from Team Yankee? Let us know. But yeah, T-64 is a Soviet tank.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Looks a lot like a T-34, but with a much longer barrel. The crazy thing with the talking about design sort of stuff, if we can just quickly go back to Rad's Tiger for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You see how the sides are very sort of flat? Down and a lot of angles there that could like catch a shell coming in. If you go and have a look at the T-64 there,
it's all angled out.
Yeah, everything's tilted over.
Mm-hmm.
So when shells would come in against it, they would either bounce off for like hard rounds, it would bounce off there, or because it's one of those things where you take so if you look at the thickness, like the width of this,
mm-hmm.
you've got that distance to go through, so like the length of my finger to go through. If you turn it on its side, or turn it on an angle, and you sort of come in there.
Oh, okay.
Increase the distance that like a round has to go through without increasing the armor, the weight of the armor. So
those engineers were thinking.
Soviets are very clever. But yeah, very cool. Oh, it's from Brad said it's from the game of tanks. Cool.
Oh, I mislabeled it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the T-34 85. So it's an 85 millimeter gun on there rather than the standard like 76 millimeter. And yep.
Nice.
Very cool. Nice one.
Graham?
Graham's painted up something for Gasland.
So would that go under your low high speed low armor tank?
Low armor. Yep.
Low armor, high speed tank.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to call all cars now forever. Everything is just a classification of tank.
Low armor, high speed tank for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's the way to go. But no, this looks great, Graham. I love the sort of the weathering, the way that you scraped off the paint. It's all rusted up around the edges, looking very cool. And that lovely Anarchy logo on the side.
Appreciate it. James?
Oh, excellent. Very nice. This is the, I think, this is the Exorcist tank from the Sisters of Battle, Warhammer 40,000. So you can see up sort of at the back there is a whole bunch of pipes, like a pipe organ.
Mm-hmm.
So each of those has a missile in it. And the gunner is sitting at the front there, like at like a keyboard.
Right.
When they press the keys, it fires off the missiles. We
love it.
It's the like the epitome of the Baroque madness of Warhammer 40,000. Yeah,
We're not sure why that exists, but it's fine.
Why wouldn't it? No, it looks great, James.
No, it does look very cool. Great.
Nice work.
Nick.
Oh, Nick has made up a clone trooper tank. I'm not sure what this tank is called, but this is looking very cool. I'm really like it's much the same as the tank that we looked at from Chris Gorka last week. Shading on the like the gray shading on in the corners of the white panels.
Yeah,
looking very cool, very nicely done. And I think there's sort of the reddish orange or the orangish red as the spot color is really nice, Nick. Good job.
Looking very good.
Yeah.
Sebastian with some more tanks.
Excellent. Yep. These are Hellhound tanks from the Imperial Guard or the Astra Militarum faction of 3000. So these are flamethrower tanks, essentially. So in the back there, you can see some pipes.
Gotcha.
So yeah, those pipes feed into like tanks of fuel that then get forced at high speed out of the nozzles there. So they're very good for clearing infantry out of trenches and bunkers and that kind of thing. But yeah, these look very nice, Sebastian. Great job. I think that red is very cool.
Oh, Sumkey says, I think the Clone Trooper tank is called a Saber tank.
Okay, cool.
Sean with another tank.
Excellent. Looking very cool here. This is a Lehman Russ tank. I've got a couple that are sitting in front of me.
Hey.
And Sean's gone for a very cool, so like a blue-gray and red scheme. Looks quite cool. The tank commander in the turret there, sort of popping out of the top of the turret. He's sort of pointing off to the side. There's a Warhammer 40,000 meme that kind of looks a little bit similar to that. But the guy in the turret has a sword.
Okay.
And he's screaming, "Drive me closer so I can hit them with my sword." But no, Sean, this looks very cool. Nice one.
And that is it for our tanks.
Excellent. That's cool. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks for those tanks.
Thanks for posting your tanks in the group, everyone.
We are very thankful.
We are very thankful, which is great. If you do have, if you're watching and you didn't get to post a tank, feel free to go ahead and post over there. I might be trying to put something together for actual Thanksgiving. That's a Thanksgiving little surprise.
Oh.
So
Cool.
feel free to look at the announcement posts in there.
That would be good. Nice.
They look very nice. Very nice indeed. All right, Dave, what are you doing now?
Now I'm doing some dry brushing on the Desert Yellow tank.
Okay.
So just because these tanks are fairly small, they've got a lot of textural detail. So they take washes and dry brushing really well. So I'm just going to do that first. And then do a little bit of weathering on it. And I figured one of the other things that I'd do on one of the other tanks is some like winter camo. So whitewashing that would have been done. So again, the units, the tank units in the field would have been sent like buckets of whitewash. Or actually, no, they would have been sent like buckets full of lime.
Oh, okay, lime.
Something. And then they would have had to make their own, like mix up their own whitewash in a big drum and then sponge, like slap it onto the tank with a mop. You might have had like 3 or 4 guys all mopping a tank with this like lime whitewash to
Oh my goodness.
keep it so that it could roll around in the snow in Western Europe. But yeah, there's a lot of things that until you start painting tanks for armies for wargaming that you just don't know. That you might have thought, okay, yeah, all those tanks obviously rolled out off the production line with those camouflage schemes painted on them. No.
They were painted in field.
In field.
On location.
and it was all about if they had a commander of the unit that was very like on the ball and made sure that all orders were carried out, it'd be done very quickly. If somebody was like, that sounds pointless, I'm not going to bother. And then if one of his superior officers said, where's the camouflage? They're like, oh, nothing arrived. Sorry. But one of the things that does mean is that when you're actually painting your tanks for wargaming, you can do all sorts of things. You can leave off camouflage. You can do all sorts
Well,
of
and
things.
as you had said, like in terms of uniforms, colors change ever so slightly. And the more you learn about that, it's very interesting and why those decisions were made, you know. And some of it is just like, well, we didn't have any more of that colors. So.
Sometimes decisions are made because it makes sense, and sometimes decisions are made because there's no other choice.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
And how about you, Gretchen? What are you working on right now?
So this is his giant sword.
Is it removable?
It snaps in the back. And I imagine just like a little dab of glue there will be fine. But I don't have glue on me. And honestly, it's the type of shape that would be easier to paint and then just snap. Not complicated at all. But it's a big sword there. That's a hefty. You know, kind of when I see it reflect, it's like a little popsicle. But yeah, so I have all like the base colors down and whatnot on my dude. So that's his sword. And it's him hanging out. See, all the paint now sticks nice and proper.
Cool.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Blue and silver is a good combo.
It's a good Paladin color, and I can always look downstairs for next week. I do have, I'll actually be like prepared next week. But I definitely have silver and I have gold somewhere, and I know I have other colors and stuff. So figure out where I schlumped everything, schlumped it all. After I was like, yes, we're going back to the studio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Shove.
Sumkey asks, winter camo after Labor Day. It's true.
Yeah.
To be fair, the only time you really want to have winter camo, you don't want to have winter. You don't want to be wearing winter camo between Memorial and Labor Day.
Yeah.
You'll be standing out.
And Chris says, I leave mine a very nice gray color.
Oh, okay. You could at least prime it with black or white. That's funny. Cool.
Also, Byron has. Oh, what did you say?
I was going to say, should I show some of my tanks?
Yeah, go ahead. Real quick, Byron asked me about Mandalorian. I have not watched Mandalorian, so.
I have not.
I don't have Disney Plus, Nate.
I was supposed to watch it with my boyfriend, but you know what he did? He watched it without me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge space western person, so.
Did you say to him, how could you do that? And he said, this is the way.
No, he just like did it on his own. I was like, huh.
You're like, well, that's all
like,
I need to know.
I get that Star Wars is more his fandom than my fandom, but I also enjoy Star Wars. Like, just because I'm not a super fan doesn't mean I'm not a fan. But yeah, I haven't seen. He kind of watched it and was like okay about it, not any which way. And I was supposed to watch it, but now we don't have the Disney Plus anymore. So got like he specifically got the binge, like enough time to just binge watch it, and then like the trial. Yeah.
So you're not watching the current season?
No, I haven't seen the current season.
I guess when it finishes, then you can Both like get it for a month.
Yep.
Watch both seasons. Cancel it.
Yes.
Well, so I think the big question for me is like, how many seasons is this show going to be? Because that's when I'll get my Disney Plus, and then I'll watch it all in a month.
1.5 seasons, which it's up to right now.
It's
incredible.
I don't know. I am of the prerogative that I would totally watch I would watch so many more shows if they were all on like the same program. I don't want to have like 50 programs to watch things.
But, yeah, that's fair. I understand.
That's why we had cable. So I'm kind of like, what is on Netflix is what I have to watch. Occasionally we do the Amazon Prime kind of thing. I don't think we have HBO. I don't know what we have. I understand that this is setting me up to be a really out of the loop old person one day.
It's okay. I'm already.
That's my job. You try to take my job. I'm the out of the loop old person.
Yeah, I don't really watch popular TV, so. All right, Dave, let's see some of your, let's do the tank showcase. Show and tell.
Tank show and tell. Which end should we start? Should we start with we start at the big end of the spectrum, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll do that. Okay, so what I have here is a Bane blade. So this is a big.
You said a Beyblade? I was like, wow, Dave, I wasn't expecting that.
Bane. Bird. You're merely can't even do the impression. But yes, big Bane blade.
Looking good.
Very cool. So this is one I painted when sort of shortly after it was released, and something I'm not sure if we made it sort of see up close, but there are a little chipped areas that are sort of just silver painted on.
Yeah, see it.
So that was sort of very early in my weathering kind of career. If you were to like, if a tank was to suffer sort of weathering that scraped off the paint in those areas, it wouldn't look like that.
Oh.
This was just a really basic sort of first time around learning kind of thing. But I mean, it looks fine, and I would quite happily use this on the table, but over the years, I learned more about doing weathering.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You can really see the difference.
Yeah, it's a lot sort of dirtier and more realistic. There's
the placement is
placement
more realistic.
And it's something that you won't really be able to pick up on the camera, but there's a lot of sort of sponging along leading edges where sort of underneath the Swanson housings and at the front of there's lots of sponge chipping where you'd see that the paint being rubbed off and revealing the undercoat kind of color. But there's also a lot of dirt and dust been put in on this one. It has like a what do you call it? Like a crew bay at the back.
Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, now I see it.
So, and then
Sumkey asks, how do you decide whether to weather or not to weather?
I wonder if that's a serious question.
I know, but it's a good question. It's a good question, though.
It is. It is. I think the answer is really which. How do you want your things to look? Do you want them to look sort of fresh off the production line, or that they're regularly taken care of by the tank crew to the extent that they hose it down every night? Or is it in the middle of a campaign where they haven't had time to deal? They've only sort of really had time to keep the engine running rather than making sure it's clean and neat and tidy.
Right.
It's really the story that you're trying to tell with it is the important part, I guess. And understand that if you start to weather one thing, you've got to work through and the rest of your army. So if your army is a big army, you might not want to do the weathering. But if it's smaller, it's much more manageable.
Gotcha. On to the next.
On the next one. So that last one that I showed, this is a lemon rust painted up to go with it. It's a dark gray finish, similar sort of weathering and chipping on there. But this also has, see these things at the back?
Yeah.
So these are called trench rails. And what they're about is in World War One, the tanks, the first British tanks that were made, as they go along and they come to a trench, they sometimes find themselves going down like that.
Okay.
And the tracks would sort of pull them up over the other side, but then they'd get stuck like this, where the tracks just turned at the mud. I turned the trench walls into mud. What these trench rails do is allow, as the tank goes over the trench, comes back up the other side, it doesn't allow the back part of the tank here to fall into the trench. And so you get a lot more purchase on this side before that happens. So the
Gotcha.
tank can continue across the trench.
It kind of changes like the pivot point.
Yeah.
Of the back end.
And so that's what these were for. A lot of later in the war, they added those to quite a few of the tanks to help them get across the trenches. They were really only seen in that last part of the war.
Because didn't they change the tracks?
No, it's just the style of warfare was different. There wasn't in World War II. There wasn't a lot of need to drive over trenches.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things where, okay, we've got a problem. Let's fix it. Okay, great. We've got this for it. Oh, we don't need it anymore. But of course, in Warhammer 40,000, people don't like to change things. So the style of warfare is trench warfare and grinding and that kind of thing. So trench rails make a lot of sense. Of course, they do nothing gameplay-wise. They're cool to have on a tank. And
do you have one more tank? Two more tanks?
I have two, actually.
Two more tanks.
Taking a lot of time.
That's all good.
But this is only like a small fraction of the number of tanks that I have. But I thought I'd bring this on to show a different camouflage scheme.
Cool.
So this tank is green and black and bone. So basically, I primed it, sprayed it green first. I sprayed it black first.
Okay.
Sprayed areas of it green.
Okay.
And then put some masking tape along over the black, sort of black along this sort of line on the tank, and lightly sprayed it with a bone spray can, then peeled off the tape and painted it back in the black. So basically the black fades through the green, which then fades into the bone. But I've got probably about 20 tanks done in this scheme. That's
for Warhammer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's like Sean's tank, the Lehman Russ. This is another.
Gotcha.
Version. It's got a big dozer blade on the front as well. But no trench rails.
No trench rails.
No trench rails at all.
Where's the accuracy here?
Well, that's fine. It's just those guys only fight on like big planes, not planes, but flat planes. PLAINS. So they don't need trench rails.
It's all good.
And this is the final one. It's a little sort of tankette that I did up, and I've used this as a sentinel, which is usually like a walker kind of robot thing. But yeah, I just wanted something small and fun and kind of is similar to some of the early British and French small tanks.
Nice.
And would have been very small, one person manning them, so one person driving, firing, all that sort of stuff. But they would have a machine gun in the top turret. Again, they would have been fast because they had light armor, light weaponry.
I'm gonna sound like a noob, but honestly, I didn't realize that Warhammer had tanks.
I am at the point where I'm never surprised when Dave's like, "This is in Warhammer," and I'm like, "Okay, you could tell me anything was in Warhammer," and I would be like, "Yes, I'm sure it is."
Fantastic. So this here is from Warhammer.
I'm sure it is.
This putty.
This putty is from Warhammer.
And if it isn't, it's going to be at some point in time. It's ahead of the game.
Gretchen, Kat gave you a shout out. You are the master of minimal supplies.
Indeed.
I learned it all in art school.
Sean says, I need to get one of your, this was the first tank you had for his Astra Militarum.
Blade. Yep. Yeah, definitely. They're a very cool tank to put together. Put that down.
Dawn was asking, do I prefer posts of models that are work in progress or recent work? You can totally post things that you finished. So
yep,
that is working. Either
yep.
one totally works. Facebook user, hello everyone.
Hello.
Good evening from the UK. Because we're on StreamYard, if you go on the link in the post and click access to that, there should be like a little hyperlink. StreamYard can actually see your profile. So
that'd be cool.
Byron says that Gretchen, you need to have glitter tanks. Either they're painted in a glitter scheme, or maybe like that's their ammo.
Do they shoot glitter? Maybe both.
If they were like the hellhounds that we saw before, that the big flame tanks, but yeah, so they have the big vats of glitter at the back, and they're flying out of there. That's fun.
Honestly, I think many of them would be terrifying.
Yeah.
You would. They're basically just like tracking tanks. They're just meant to mark a target, so you can.
Cool.
Kat says, a bit early, but I'm thankful to this live stream and the three of you for giving us a bit of escape from the craziness of the world. Now off to work. Take care. Bye, Kat. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thankful. We're thankful for you.
We are thankful for everyone who watches. Yep. Yeah, we know it is crazy out there. That's why we're doing Hobby Hangout. So, we just try and have some good times and be tankful over here.
Exactly.
I'm never gonna let tankful go. You know.
Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that.
Keep it in your heart.
I'll keep Thanksgiving going even in Christmas. X-Wing miss. We have to think of a miss that would work.
X-Wing is good.
X-Wing miss. If you have any ideas, put them in the chat for other misses. Messes?
Seth says, where's the color shifting tanks from Gretchen?
With the oil spill color shift.
The color shifting tanks, and they just shoot glitter.
That would be good. And
David says tank nets are so cute.
Yep.
Which is exactly what I said before the show.
The owner's line was actually, "Ah."
Before the show, I was like, "That's so cute." So I appreciate that is a universal experience.
Yeah, awesome.
Carl says glitter launched from a huge organ with Space Marine gunner for Gretchen.
Yeah. That would be good.
I think that's because then it can be like, I imagine that this organ missile launching tank also plays music. Like,
oh sure, yeah.
So
I don't know why my brain just went to Phantom of the Opera. But...
Oh yeah, that's
it's dramatic. It'd be very dramatic.
It's just glitter.
Subtlety would not be my but subtlety in a tank. You're not in a tank.
Covert missions are not done in tanks.
This is my stealth tank. Whatever.
Well, you know, there are for paintball, you can actually buy like mini tankettes where the gun fires paintballs or fires larger paintball rounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that they're like paintballs that are this big, but they're clusters of it's a ball that's big paintball.
Yeah.
It goes out, it explodes, so it sprays out over there.
It's
you can do that. You can do that and fill the paintballs with glitter.
I didn't know this, but I love this. I've not really played paintball before, but I would totally get the glitter paintballs for that. I would tell no one. They'd all know.
Don't worry, Warhammer isn't subtle.
Yeah, so that's what something says.
You'd be right at home.
Don't worry. Also, Roger likes the idea of X-Wing miss.
Cool.
I think we might have to try that.
I think
Tanks
so.
for the memories. Yeah, it's all good.
I'm going to hold something up here. So
yeah.
I'm not sure if we can start to see that, but on the top of the tank.
We can.
So what I'm doing there is I'm sponging. So using just a piece of foam here to sponge on some very light gray.
Okay.
So it's almost white, but I'm doing light gray first it's got a little bit better coverage than white. Just getting a bit on the sponge, dabbing it off, and then dabbing it on the side of the tank.
Oh, nice.
What this will do is it'll leave a little bit of that sort of green, the green tank color in the recesses.
Mm-hmm.
But so it starts to be a cool highlighted effect as well. You see on the back deck there. So yeah, it's going to go through and do that all over this tank first.
Because that's for your snow.
Yeah, if you're doing a winter
your winter camouflage. Sorry.
So
gotcha.
And really for the US Army, this was like the winter of 44 is really the only time that they.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I didn't even know they really had winter? Question mark.
Oh yeah.
I mean they had winter, but I guess I was my World War II knowledge is not that great. That is what I am admitting right now.
I'm thinking, how did you not? Okay, not everybody knows what I know. So
my father's a huge Civil War buff, but World War II. So I know a lot about the Civil War, y'all, but not World War II.
We have too many people who are World War II buffs.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Instead, I got dragged around to Civil War battle sites as a young child, thinking that was what every family did for family vacation.
Sure.
It's all good. We're having a good time.
Fantastic. I will admit that when I started going to Gettysburg,
yeah,
I probably went to Gettysburg 2 or 3 times and did the driving tour with the audio tape or the CD.
Yeah.
Sort of up on what's going on. When my parents came over once, and I said, "Oh, well, yeah, let's go to Gettysburg." And they're like, "Oh, this would be really interesting." And so I went and did the tour with them without the CD or the tape. I just drove them around to different points and said, "Oh, check this and check out that." And they're like, "Oh, wow, you must really like this." I'm like, "I've done the tour a couple of times."
Yeah.
But now that I've got the light gray on there,
okay,
I'm going to switch to a white, just a straight up matte white from Vallejo, and just not try and not push it down as hard over the whole area, and just try and keep it on towards the edges. It just adds a bit more depth to it. And the thing that you can do with this, once you've got that, so you can see that.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So this works. This technique also works really well on Soviet tanks, World War II Soviet tanks. There's a lot of they spend a lot more time in winter in fighting Germans in the Soviet Union. So
yep.
It's definitely good. But one of the things you can do is, so up on the top there, you can see the hatch. Two parts of the hatch that come together. And also there's going to be there are going to be places on there where somebody would climb out of that hatch, like open the hatch. They're going to put their hands on the top of the hatch to close it, or that kind of thing. Where there's going to be a lot of wear and tear, just regular sort of thing. So what I can do is go back with the base color and paint over that white, so it looks like it's worn off.
That's cool.
Something to sort of think about as you're going through
and consider
and doing it. But,
so,
yeah.
Would you guys like to look at the minis that I collected from the group?
All the minis that aren't tanks?
That are not tanks, yes. But we are thankful that they were posted.
Yes.
Yeah, they were posted.
A good time.
Excellent.
All right. Let us look. So these are from our people watching kind of know the drill now, but these are from our Facebook group, Painting Happy Little Minis.
Yep.
And these are the ones that have been recently posted. So
yep, this one was fantastic. Chantel painted it up for it says there, the Massive Voodoo Painting Challenge.
Yeah.
2020. So Massive Voodoo, definitely check out the Massive Voodoo blog. That's Roman Lapat and friends who are doing awesome stuff. But in the foreground there, right next to the R in Taylor.
Right here.
Yep.
The little guy.
Little spaceman. A little astronaut in an orange suit there. Mr. Lee's Minis made these like a couple of different 15mm scale astronauts, slightly chibi style. And then Roman decided to run a painting challenge where it's basically like paint one of these up, put it in a setting. I think he's done about 5 or 6 of them already. Just different things, exploring different opportunities.
Have you seen the game Among Us, Dave?
I have.
It does look like that.
It looks like an Among Us little character.
It definitely has that sort of thing going on.
That vibe.
Yeah, and particularly in this one, actually I hadn't thought about it before, but yeah, it definitely has it in this diorama that Chantel's done with the all those little nurglings.
Yeah, I think so.
Each of them being a different color.
I think that's kind of what gave it to me. No, I really love this. It's really great. Super dynamic. I love that they're like in the water, but then some of them are submerged. Great job.
It's definitely great. And the cool thing with it as well is that the focus is sort of pushed towards the spaceman.
True.
So, I keep calling him a spaceman. I don't want to say astronaut.
That's fair.
Spaceman is fun. But no, great work as well.
Chris Gorka with some Mandalorians.
These look very cool. Chris done a nice job.
I'm loving the yellow accents.
Yeah, I like the.
Definitely good. In the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Okay, I'll stop there. Seeing as how you folks haven't seen it. No spoilers.
No, you can talk about it. It's fine.
Keep moving on.
No, it's okay. Good job, Chris. You like it? Good job.
Yeah, that looked great. Very
Chris
nice.
Hood, first attempt at Kingdom Death.
Oh wow. Yep, doing beautiful work.
Nice job with the red and then the leather.
Yeah, looking really good. And that with the saturated red hair is looks fantastic. And then the sort of desaturated blue gray is very nice against that.
Yeah.
But and this mini is probably like a maybe 35mm scale.
Okay.
So it's pretty small.
Gotcha.
I thought it was bigger.
Yeah, it's got so much detail on it. And
it's very clean work, that one eye showing through the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just really well done. Chris has done a beautiful job painting it.
Good job, Chris.
Yeah, nice work.
Clive with some undead Kickstarters.
Undead Kickstarters? Resurrected Kickstarters that failed? Is that it? Or I'm not sure.
No, they're from a Kickstarter.
From a Kickstarter. Okay, so miniatures from I get it now. I understand. No, this is looking very cool. I'm loving that the richness of that green. Looks really nice. Do you think that's a lich or a necromancer? Is that summoning the?
Something like that.
Like very necromancy vibes, but I like the green because it's not something you typically like. That rich foresty, really associated with dead things.
Yeah,
but it's associated with life, and it is a thing coming back to life.
That's true.
But it's a nice color.
I think normally it'd be like a black or a gray or a purple or something like that. But yeah, looking really nice, Clive. Good work.
David with the Terminator Chaplain.
Chaplain.
Tarantus.
So I think this was a
Oh, Clive says he's using him as a necromancer. Sorry, the
okay,
undead
cool.
guy.
Excellent.
We guessed correctly.
Yay! Looking very cool. But yeah, so David's painted up this Terminator Chaplain, which was a really recent release.
Yeah, I feel like for like a week we got 10 of these posted.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a super cool model. It's a great update of an older Terminator Chaplain.
Gotcha.
This guy would probably be like 40% larger than the previous one.
Oh.
But no, very cool. And the chaplains are the sort of the religious zealots at the top of the religious zealot Space Marines heap.
So you would want him in your army.
Yeah, he strides around the battlefield, sort of reading out litanies of hate and that kind of thing to inspire the Space Marines to greater feats on the battlefield.
Good.
But they are always dressed in black, regardless of what chapter they're with.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like in the blue Ultramarines, the chaplains are black. In the red Blood Angels, the chaplains are black. So it's like a badge of office.
Gotcha.
But yeah, nice work, David. It looks great. The gold trim in particular is very cool. Nice one.
Dwight, my tyrant for my dad bod army. I love this captain. It was a good captain.
I want to see the whole dad bod army.
I know. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yep.
I kind of want them to be at a barbecue.
They pretty much are. Yeah. It's the armory is the ogre army, so they have I've got some ogres on the top here.
Smoking something.
So they're big. They're all big, sort of chunky boys.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, dad bod is a great description. I thought of that. But yeah, this tyrant looks awesome. He's one of the it's fairly recent model for the ogres, but yeah, I'm loving there's lots of very sort of utilitarian colors on there. The metal, the browns, the bones, that kind of thing. But then the pops of the like light blue, teal kind of
right.
The orange in the center there. Yeah, just look very cool. Nice work, Dwight. Looks great.
Greg.
Oh my goodness.
Cast and Play Patreon, but 3D printed by Greg. Sorry. I say Craig, man. Greg. This is a crazy monster.
It is. That's it's very Cthulhu-esque / the others from Come On.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I love how deep purpley red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very very nice. And in this, yeah, the deep purpley red on the sort of super fleshy parts, and you almost feel like the rest of the skin is very leathery.
Yeah.
It's almost alien facehugger kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking really nice, Greg. I think great choices there.
Some nice shadowing in the
the
feet area. I don't know if that was with contrast, but I feel like contrast would work really nicely.
Yeah.
It's a very textured piece. Yeah. Contrast would work well.
Good job. Oh,
awesome.
Hobby Hangout.
It's us.
Sorry, that was.
I love those minis.
They look pretty good. I love the explosion in the background. Add some character to them.
Is anyone still watching? You got a little sneak peek at Leona's files.
They could almost be real people.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I'm waiting for the day someone just 3D prints me and you, Dave.
I'm just glad that. I think that if somebody was to 3D print me, that I might end up in Dwight's dad bod army. That'd be perfect. Hooray!
Incredible. I see someone's Facebook comment about asking about tips, but we'll get to that after we look at the rest of these, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
We have Jason with a young green dragon.
That looks very cool. Very nice.
Loving the lime greeny yellow on the inner.
Yeah, on the membrane.
Mm-hmm.
The membrane. Yeah, I think that looks really good. I also like the kind of like the bone color for the scales and the spines along the back, and then connecting those to the ends of the fingertips on the spines of the wings.
Right.
So yeah, looking really good. Nice work, Jason.
Good job. Great. Jason, another Jason with Warhammer 40K Primaris Tech Marine.
Tech Marine. Well done. They're all out of words to learn. But yeah, again, you know how you said the chaplains wear black armor?
Yep.
The Tech Marines, who are basically at the very sort of basis sense, are kind of the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the people who look after all of the equipment for the Space Marine chapters. They all wear red. Yes. So this one has Jason's has a blue knee pad there, so that's probably a nod to the chapter color of his chapter.
Gotcha.
Which I'm suggest might be Ultramarines, but I'm not going to say that out loud. But yeah, no, Jason's done a really nice job here. It's a very very nice, neat paint job. I'm loving the highlighting on the red. It's very cool. There's a lot of lines on there to do that line highlighting, that edge highlighting on, and I think Jason's done a really cool.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Nice
wow.
work. Yeah.
Good job.
It's done it very well. Very well there. And I think that's kind of the greenish pop on the pistol.
Right.
Just again working well against the darker, deeper red. Yeah. Nice work, Jason.
Good job.
That's great.
Jody with a painted metallic behemoth for a bud.
Nice.
Mantic behemoth for a bud.
Behemoth. That's how you got to say it. You got to say it. Behemoth.
Is that how you have to?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it like that.
It's from Stephen Wright does is the DJ on in Reservoir Dogs. He talks about the monster truck show. Big Daddy Don Bodine struck the behemoth.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is looking very cool, Jody. I think particularly the work you've done on those armor plates at the back, or the armored sort of skirt around the back there.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks really cool. That scale armor there. But yeah, I think a really nice balance of colors across it as well. You haven't overloaded. We haven't split it evenly. Kind of. It's you've got really good, solid, strong colors there. Like I
like this purple, red, dark brown, kind of brown burgundy color.
Yep.
Looks nice.
I think just working around as the main like flat plate color. It's really good.
Looking good.
Yeah, nice work.
Josh Potter, troglodytes on land dragons.
Fantastic. Can you zoom in a little on it?
Yes.
Thank you. These land dragons, I don't know. Do they look familiar, Gretchen?
Really?
He's asking if they look like alligators.
Yep.
Oh. I was like, I don't know what that's supposed to look like.
These good old fashioned lion dragons.
Yep. They look very cool.
I love the purple in the mouths.
Yeah.
I like that with the yellow.
Good contrasting colors. Good.
Yep.
Complementary. Yeah.
Yep. The purple and the yellow is contrasting there, but then sort of complementary through the browns and into the reds. But yeah, looking really nice, Josh. They look great. I wonder where are they from? Who makes these?
He said on the post. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
But yeah, they look really cool. Nice one.
Lady B Miniatures with their Sigmar Weird Knobs Shaman, which I didn't know if that was their real name or if that was the name that Lady B gave to them.
No, that's that's for Age of Sigmar. It's from the Oryx.
Okay.
They're sort of orc army, and yeah, it is a weird knob shaman.
Okay, weird name.
Knob. Weird knob. Yep. In with the orcs, the orc bosses are called knobs.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly why, but it's something that's been in Warhammer for a long time. So this is a weird knob. So kind of a boss who is weird.
Gotcha.
Weird knob.
On the post, someone had talked about the like silvery plume. They were talking about like that was a really kind of fun way to use the oil spill / what do we call them? Reflecting?
The color shift.
The color shift, yeah.
The shifters. Yeah.
The shifters.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I'm normally I think you typically see that sort of being painted up as smoke. Being billowing out, maybe some magical colors like purples or greens.
Okay.
But yeah, this is I think it's a really nice neat take, a different take on it, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely great work, Lady B.
Great work.
Nice.
Michael Bull with a D&D Harpy.
Wicked. Sorry, I just noticed in the chat that Sean said nobles. So yeah, there we go. Knobs is short for nobles. That makes sense.
Good one. Noble. Somebody says knob comes from the word noble.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Now I can tap that.
Never forget. But yeah, this harpy is looking very cool. Nice work. I think it's great. Dry brushing being done on the wings. Really good texture in there to catch on to. And probably a little bit of highlighting as well. A little bit of small line highlighting, but yeah. Nice. Again, the sort of more saturated red hair and a desaturated sort of green dress is looking really cool.
I like the pop on of the highlighting going on with the musculature.
Right. Yep.
That shoulder.
Down the arm and the shoulder. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like the way that the flesh sort of transitions into that sort of that desaturated yellowish orange for the like the chicken feet of the harpy. But yeah, Michael's done a nice job here. Very good. Oh yeah. Yep.
I wanted to add this because Mike kind of posted his whole process.
Yep.
Mike actually built this little display. And I just thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That in the group, you don't have to just post, your miniatures. You can post any miniature project, which includes models.
Yep, building displays for these. So yeah, these are all from Shadows and Brimstone, which has a lot of different models in the range. But so yeah, Mike's going to put this sort of tier display into a Billy bookcase, Billy from IKEA, with glass doors at the front, so it keeps the dust out. But yeah, definitely cool. I love that it just elevates the models, and you can see the entire collection rather than sort of craning to see what's at the back of the set. I've got my stuff in IKEA bookshelves upstairs, and I just know that I should do something like this to sort of elevate it. Otherwise, I'm just sort of stuck putting the tanks at the back and the smaller guys at the front. But yeah,
you're just stacking your tanks. You're like, here's the big one. Here's a medium size.
When I run out of space, yeah.
You start
stacks with 3 or 4 tanks. Yeah,
but
yeah.
So yeah, those were the minis that I had chosen today to look at.
Yep.
All good things.
yeah, definitely looking very cool. Very cool. We should jump back into the chat with.
Yes. So also Carl, real quick, Carl says, I'm a dad bod chaplain, which is hilarious. Byron asked, I thought the weapons for the techs were red? Question mark. Maybe they are.
Oh, possibly. But I don't think the weapons have any specific colors that they have to be, but definitely the armor is.
And then this was the question. Any tips for highlighting metallics, such as tin and copper colors?
Cool. With if we're talking tin, being like tinny tin, thing, so it's more of a deep sort of bronze color, and the copper as well. For both of those, for highlighting, I'd mix in some really light silver. So if you're using like the army painter paints, it'd be like shining silver, or
that one's so bright. The shining silver is so bright.
It is.
It's like
right. Not quite as bright as
the most paladin of paladins.
Yeah.
It's not quite as bright as the Vallejo Air Model Air aluminium.
Okay.
Which is actually spelled aluminium, not spelled aluminum.
Nice.
But yeah, that one's super bright. But yeah, it would be build up that up to that kind of color.
Okay.
The important thing with highlighting metals is to work out: do you want a very shiny, polished metal? If you want a shiny, polished metal look, you want a very sharp highlights and what do you call it? Yeah, they're very, very sharp and bright, undiluted highlights. Something that's a little bit less polished or is a little bit tarnished. A smoother transition between your shadows and your highlights is what you're looking for. So I guess the best thing to do is always to do a Google image search for the type of thing that you're looking to paint. So you can check out the difference between like the chrome bean sculpture in Chicago or a like a cast iron skillet.
Right.
They're both metallic, but they're going to be a very different way that you'd highlight them.
The I guess the thing is so you wouldn't recommend just like adding light, but rather a brighter silver.
Right. Yeah.
Just the biggest, I think.
If you add a matte paint to a metallic paint, you're going to take away some of that metallic
Intensity. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might get an awkward highlight then, not in color per se, but in metallicness.
You will get an odd color shift happening that will be different for each brand of paint, because even though if you like put it like straight down, like straight tinny tin or whatever the equivalent is in the army painter or whatever the equivalent is in other ranges, they might look the same when you paint them all onto a model, but they might have slightly different balances of reds or purple or browns in there. So when you mix in white, you'll get like a pearlescent finish, but it'll go down a particular path that'll react better with one of those different tones that are in there. Whereas, yeah, looking in the silver still keeps that metallic intensity that Gretchen's talking about. So it's definitely.
And with copper, is there a such thing as a brighter copper?
With copper, I also go with just mixing in the silver.
The silver, okay.
But if you wanted to, what you want to do afterwards, if it's copper tends to have a lot of polished copper has a lot of orange, has a very orange feel. So if you think that you've diluted that orange feel a little bit too much, you can put a like a thin orange glaze over the top. So take some orange paint, or something like the Griffound orange contrast paint. Thin that down a little bit and paint that over the top of your highlighted piece.
That'll help bring it back to the coppery.
Yeah. And if you find doing that gives it a little bit of a matte finish, just put a gloss varnish over the top.
Nice.
So that's the way I do it.
Well, very good. I hope that helped whomever asked that. It might have been, actually, I think it was Clive who was
I'm
asking that.
going to mention there that Chris Layfield says, I had awkward highlights in high school once.
Yes.
Didn't we all? Like the 2000s weren't good to anyone.
I was going to say once.
Once? Oh, that's when you know your friends.
Yeah. But I was going to say one of the other things in there, David Moffat said, I always thought the painted librarians I've seen were ultramarines until someone told me otherwise. That's because, chaplains are black armor, tech marines are red armor, librarians, blue armor.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
Yeah.
And apothecaries are white armor.
Okay. I'm realizing like that scheme actually really helps when you're looking at your battlefield, because then you always know what guys they are and where they are.
Good. Here's the guy who's going to fix my tanks. It's the guy in the red.
Yeah, it just occurred to me, and I'm like, I get it now.
There's a purpose to it, for sure.
There's a reason for everything. It's great. Yeah.
And Chris says, LOL, the 2000s. That's adorable.
I wasn't going to mention that, but...
Yeah, Chris is about 4 years younger than me, so he was well out of
2000s. It's fine. It's fine.
He was out of college.
Just go with it. It's fine.
Rolled around. David Moffat says high school, 2000s?
Question mark?
I mean, there were still bad highlights going on in the 90s, I feel. The 90s was like frost tips. I mean, I know you're trying to get back to the 80s, but it's fine. Shh.
Yeah. 80s is where they were invented.
I don't know what the hair was like.
Hey.
Nice.
I agree with this, Brad. What happens in a Blood Angel army when everyone is red?
Then it's a lot tougher to pick out your tech marine.
Dang it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But yeah, that's usually why they also have like a big backpack with mechanical arms, servo arms, lifting pieces of tanks off the tank while they're repairing it. So
everyone, high school, the 2000s. Excuse me, I was in middle school in the 2000s and high school in the 2000s.
It was a good decade.
It was a great decade for bad highlights. Yeah.
Well, we are coming to the end of our show. Can you believe it? Hobby Hangout 0.20, 2.0, however you say that, gosh. 2.0. We've lived a little, we've laughed a little, we've cried a little while we've been on this show. But all in all, we've had a lot of tanks.
We've had a lot of tanks. I've been fighting off my cat for most of this episode.
Oh, I like this. What is black and white and red all over? Blood Angels. Hey.
Nice.
Oh, thank you all for joining. Painting Happy Little Minis, Hobby Hangout mode. We've had fun. We've had some tanks. Be sure that you join our group, Painting Happy Little Minis, where we have we do have a giveaway going on. So be sure to look in the announcements and check that out. That's actually ending in like 7 days. So if you have, make sure you submit your miniatures. There's 3 ways you can submit miniatures. So go ahead and submit all 3 times. That's totally fine.
Leona, are we going to be here next week since that is Thanksgiving?
We are not here next week.
That is something.
We are all taking off. Thank you, Gretchen. We are taking a break, truly tanking a break.
I think
as much as I would love for you to just have the stream going as we all cook in the background.
Yeah.
I think you'll find we'll all be here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be here, you'll be there, and you'll be there.
Yes.
But we won't all be together.
We will not be together here on this stream. So make sure that you come and say hello to us in December, actually, which is crazy to think about. So yeah, we will see you guys all in December, and make sure that you have stay safe out there.
Thanksgiving for those who are celebrating.
Yes, wear your mask.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. And
just wear a shirt that says you're a miniature painter on it, and everyone will stay.
Make it burn.
It's not the fact that
Dave, I want a gif of your face. I'm just...
it's not the fact that I'm a miniature painter that people say 6 feet away. It's my scintillating personality. That's why.
Exactly. I think if you just had the shirt that said "I lick paintbrushes."
Yeah. It's all good. But make sure you're following us in the group. That's where we will be if you want to interact with us between now and December. So we will see you guys all and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.